It is a sad day in the games industry today as Sony has announced that they are closing down Concord's developer Firewalk Studios. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler and today we're going to be talking about the sad news that we got today from Sony that they're going to be closing down 2 of their first party studios. Now, I want to break down this news because it's quite a lot we got to go over here. We're going to go facts first, and then we'll get into some of my opinion on this. Sony announced that they are closing down 2 of their studios, one of them being the mobile game developer Neon Koi, and the other being Concord's developer Firewalk Studios. Now, in terms of numbers and how many people are going to be lost here with these closures, a Sony spokesperson did tell Bloomberg News that a total of 210 people will be losing their jobs. 172 are coming from Firewalk Studios, and 38 are coming from Neon Koi. Now, this news came out as part of a post that Sony themselves put out on their blog, and it was an email that was sent out, an internal email specifically sent out to all employees by the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment's business group, Herman Hulst. And in this email, this is when he announced the closures, and he spoke about the reasoning behind it and kind of sort of talked about Sony's path forward after these closures. Reading from the email, Herman Hulst says, quote, "Today, I want to share some important updates from Sony Interactive Entertainment's Studio Business Group. We consistently evaluate our games portfolio and status of our projects to ensure we are meeting near and long-term business priorities. As part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen SIE's studio business, we have had to make a difficult decision relating to 2 of our studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios. Expanding beyond PlayStation devices and crafting engaging online experiences alongside our single-player games are key focal areas for us as we evolve our revenue streams. We need to be strategic, though, in bringing our games to new platforms and recognize when our games fall short of meeting player expectations." Now, jumping ahead to the Firewalk section specifically, Herman Hulst says, "Regarding Firewalk, as announced in early September, certain aspects of Concord were exceptional, but others did not land with enough players, and as a result, we took the game offline. We have spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. The PvP first-person shooter genre is a competitive space that's continuously evolving, and unfortunately, we did not hit our targets with this title. We will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area." Now, as it pertains to Neon Koi, Herman Hulst had this to say in the email. He says, "While mobile remains a priority growth area for the studio business, we are in the very early stage of our mobile efforts. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree and have the potential to reach more players globally. With this refocused approach, Neon Koi will close and its mobile action game will not be moving forward. I want to express my gratitude to everyone at Neon Koi for their hard work and endless passion to innovate." As for what's going to happen to the studios and the employees that were at them, in the email, Herman Hulst does say that Sony is planning to help the employees find new positions across other studios in Sony's lineup where possible. Now, I want to add some extra context to this news, that way we have a better picture of the situation here. Neon Koi, first off, was acquired back in 2022 and never put out a game, okay? They've only been acquired for 2 years and they have not put out a single game. Never got a chance to. Firewalk was acquired in 2023, shortly before Concord was announced, because Concord was announced in the summer of 2023. Now, also, according to sources that were familiar with Concord's development that spoke with Kotaku, the initial development deal for Concord was a bit over $200 million. This was reportedly enough to cover the development of the game, but it did not include the IP rights for Concord or the purchase of the studio itself, which came afterwards, after this $200 million development deal. Also, Firewalk put out a statement on Twitter, a bit of a lengthy statement talking about, basically their final message in regards to this closure. I'm not going to read the full message, but I will read part of their message because I do think it should be read. It should be heard by everyone out there. They start off by saying in their message, Firewalk began with the idea of bringing the joy of multiplayer to a larger audience. We took some risks along the way, marrying aspects of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shooters, and although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward. The talent at Firewalk and the level of individual craft is truly world-class, and teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. Please reach out to recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries, and thank you to all the very many teams, partners, and fans who supported us along the way. See you in the Tempest. Now that's all the facts, those are all the news, it's all the information, the core information regarding these two closures here. My opinion on this now. This sucks. Straight up, this just straight up sucks. Even if this was a bit expected on the Firewalk side of things specifically, considering everything that happened with Concord and how it had a poor reception when it was revealed, the beta didn't really get great numbers and positive buzz from a lot of people. The launch was disastrous. It was pulled and refunded within 2 weeks of actual release. Even with all that, yes, this was a bit expected, but there was still the hope that Firewalk would get a chance to bring the game back and give it a second wind in some way, shape, or form, be that free to play or whatever the case may be. But straight up, this sucks, and both teams, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios, 100% deserved better. They were both purchased to further Sony's mobile and live service ambitions, and were promptly shut down without really getting a chance, especially in Neon Koi's case, because again, they never got to put out a game. They were still working on their game, and it never got a chance to see the light of day, unlike Concord, which did get a chance to see the light of day, and even that was not given a fair shake because people wrote it off as soon as they saw it. But if you played the game, it was actually not a bad game. It is a fun game. There are flaws with the game, yes, but the actual gameplay itself was not bad. It was a genuinely fun game. And I feel like, you see these two closures here, and it is honestly an indictment on the current state of the gaming industry. This is something that people continue to preach, whether it be influencers, developers, journalists, whatever the case may be. People continue to preach that honestly, right now in the games industry, it is so unforgiving and so damning how one failure is enough to completely sink your studio nowadays. It's because of the investment that goes into game development, be that the highest of the AAA games, highest end AAA games, or even on the indie side of things. If your game fails, it can just completely shutter your studio and you don't get a second chance. There is no redemption story, which is honestly a shame that that's the case that's the state of things in the industry right now. Sony is saying there's also the Sony side of this here. They said they're going to be taking learnings from Firewalk and Concord for their future live service games, which to me, it feels like a slap in the face given what happened to Firewalk. It's like, yeah, we purchased you guys with the intent of you making a live service game for us to further our ambitions here. And it didn't turn out that well. It's your first one. All right, well, we acquired you a year ago. We're gonna shut the studio down. We'll take the learnings from you guys, though. We'll take the learnings from you guys from your 2 weeks in development and the 2-week beta or however long the beta went on. We'll take the learnings from that experience and we'll apply it to our other games. You all, though, we're not gonna give you another chance. Goodbye. It just feels like such a slap in the face to Firewalk specifically, them saying that. Now, I am sure they will take the learnings from it and apply it to their future games. As I said before in a video I put out, I believe last month, talking about, in light of Concord getting shut down and refunded, what were Sony's, live service plans going to be looking like for the future? We know that they had Marathon, Horizon multiplayer game, and Fair Games in development, as well as this Project Gummy Bears game that Bungie was working on as well. We know they had those games in development, but past that, we don't really know of any other live service games they're working on, if they are working on any. And at the time, I said, honestly, I would not be surprised if they say, yeah, you know what? We are going to basically start pumping the brakes on all our live service plans, and we are only focusing on these 4 right now. Anything else past this is not happening, or it is getting looked over very, very, very hard to even see if it's going to get the green light. And even if it gets the green light, it's going to be scrutinized so hard to see if it gets canceled before it gets too far into development. And right now, after the closure of Firewalk Studios specifically Firewalk, it makes me think this even more. I feel like even more once Marathon, Horizon, Fair Games come out, maybe even Gummy Bear, if Gummy Bear gets to that point, because since Sony is now taking more control over Bungie in light of all the problems that Bungie is having, after these games come out, like we are so essentially, I don't think we're going to be seeing any more live service games, strictly live service games from Sony's first party. I think that Concord was too big of a black mark on them, and I feel like they want to cut their losses and run right now. Like I said before in that previous video, I feel like Marathon has a fair chance at success, even if there are some disturbing, troubling rumblings surrounding the development of the game right now. I feel like it has a fair chance of success because it is coming from Bungie. Bungie has a pedigree right there, so it has a fair chance of success on that level alone. Horizon has a fair chance of success because of the power of that IP and the gameplay and creative potential that could come from a Horizon multiplayer game. Fair Games, though, is the one where right now I'm like, Godspeed to Fair Games, because it needs all the help it can get. It needs to truly impress us. It needs to show off, what makes this game special, what makes it unique, what makes this game look fun, because, the CG trailer reveal that we got last year didn't really do it for many people. And I mean, it's also a CG trailer. It's not going to do much on its own. We have heard nothing about the game since then. So Fair Games is supposed to be coming out next year. Who knows what's going to happen with that game right now, but that one has the biggest uphill battle to face, and I can see it going through a Concord situation again, and I really hope it doesn't. I hope it succeeds, because I don't want any game to fail. You never want a game to fail, even if it's a game where it's like, it's a live service game, but you don't want live service. I don't want games to fail, because as they said in the Firewalk statement on Twitter, new ideas and creativity like that, it's important to the industry. We need new ideas. We can't just regurgitate the same ideas over and over and over again, the same franchises over and over and over again. New ideas are the lifeblood of the games industry. So I always want to see a new IP succeed in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not for me. I still want to see it succeed. So I would like Fair Games to succeed on that level alone, combined with also the developers behind it. I don't want any of them to all just have the studio shut down because this game flopped and failed and just just utterly was a disaster, like the Concord situation. So Godspeed Haven Studios, Jade Raymond, everyone over there, Godspeed Fair Games. I hope the best for you. And to bring it back to Firewalk and to Neon Koi, I know I haven't said too much about Neon Koi. I was myself personally not too familiar with the studio in any way, shape, or form, as I'm not really much of a mobile game person. That said, though, to all the developers at Neon Koi, I feel for you all. I'm very sorry that your studio was shut down before you were even able to put out the game you were working on. To everyone that was there, I honestly hope the best for you. I hope you were able to find a new home somewhere, whether that be at another game studio, or if you decide to leave the games industry entirely, it's completely understandable, and I honestly hope the best for you all. As for Firewalk Studios, I've already said it on the channel before, I loved Concord. Concord was a really fun game. It was a great game, had so much fun with it. It was an absolute blast. And the world, the universe, the characters, I loved them. It was really rich and ripe for exploration, and I was so excited to see what you all were going to do with the rest of the story and more characters and worlds and gameplay and so on and so forth. I was so excited to see all that. I'm so sorry that this turned out the way it did. Your team did not deserve this. Concord deserved a better chance. It deserved a fair shake that it unfortunately did not get from the general public. So I'm sorry. I hope that you all are able to find, footing in another studio, be that in PlayStation Studios or outside PlayStation Studios, or like I said for Neon Koi, for Neon Koi's developers. If you all choose to leave the industry entirely, whatever the case may be, I hope you all are able to find footing somewhere and aren't, in this nebulous state of unemployment for too long. Everyone makes you all made great games, and I just hope the best for you guys. So that's my thoughts on all this. Let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot. We'll talk next time. Have a good one.